I became I became so influential in the Indian government that one person in particular I couldn't say she was fearful of me, but she had graver concerns about me personally. And that was Indira Gandhi. And when she declared an emergency, which was a dictatorship, she formed a special cell to investigate me 24 hours a day. So for about 5 months, I was watched when I slept. When I went to the bathroom, they listened to the wall. They read all my mail. When I did my japa, when I went to out preach, I was accompanied. It was very protective. It's like I had my own protective detail, because
Epic.
she could not figure it out. And there was a guy ahead of this. Must have been 11 or 17 people involved because they're record takers, and they had many shifts, because it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 5 months, and then there were all types of things. So then the head, he is a Sardar, a Sikh, and he had been educated in America, highly educated, very, very refined gentleman, very high up in the echelon of the spy industry, and so he would come and, ask me, what do you do? Why do you do it? And I just answer him, why I was doing this, right? There was no anything. So on the third time he came, and he's a very intelligent guy, mind you, So he asked me all the same questions. And I just looking at him, he's such an intelligent man. He said, why do you do this? So I told him, first of all, can you tell me in any way, is there anything I'm saying that I'm not doing? Because I sincerely want to know if there's any duplicity, any faults on my part. If you've seen any discrepancy, tell me, because I would like to improve myself. Seriously. And then he said, no, everything you're doing is everything you're saying is what you're doing, and everything you're doing is what you told me. I said, there's no disparity. He says, none at all. I said, look, you've been investigating me. I don't remember now. It was 5 months. And you have so many manpower. And frankly, I don't mind. Most people would get really spooked out by it. Wouldn't you get spooked out by it? Someone shadowing you 24 hours a day, standing next to you, some stinky person. You're at the toilet and they're listening there. You're sleeping and they're jimmying open the window and watching you while you sleep. And where you go out preaching, they follow you if they can get on the buses with you, because I took public transportation in Delhi. And then they follow up the stairs and then they ask the people and they run down the stairs. Most people get completely spooked, but me, I'm a weird guy, I don't get spooked. I have weaknesses, but I'm, it didn't bother me. I said, you're perfectly welcome to go on doing this forever. It's your country. You're completely free to investigate me. In fact, I feel rather safe because I know I always have police nearby me. So if anybody tried to bother me, I'll be safe. So you please go on doing that. So, but I said, if I have one question, can you tell me why you're going on doing this? Despite that, every 5 months, continue for 5 years, I don't care. But 5 months, you know everything about me more than anybody has known, more than I know about myself, more than Krishna knows about me. Why are you going to do this? You know what his answer was? Come on, take a guess.
We're being paid to do it. They
No,
told us to
that's
do
not
it.
why they were doing it. His answer was, it's too good to be true. So I laughed and laughed. I said, Sardarji, because that's how you address, Sikh. Sardarji, I forget his name, Jatinder Singh. I said, Sardarji, you're such an intelligent man. Just think what you said. So go on doing it. I have nothing to say, but you're wasting time and money. So they wrapped it up and ended it. So,
I love it.
being too good to be true, on one level, it creates suspicion, but, people who are up there, who manage and control society, control people, control the governments, control administration, control ideas that flow into society, these controllers that are there, already there, different levels, different capacities. When they encounter someone who knows they have nothing to gain, dead stop because they have no control over you.
I've heard a similar story. I can't remember. I believe it was KGB agents, and they were studying devotees, and they ended up becoming devotees themselves by studying the devotees. They were so impressed.
Yeah, I had an encounter in South Russia, south of um, the Black Sea. There's a town airport called Korshnodar. So I always call it Krishna Dwara, you know. So I went there a few times, and one of the times I went there, there was some politics between. It was there from the beginning. There was some politics between the temple president. I don't know why you have to have a temple president. It's just a village, but there was a village with 50 devotees in it out of 100 people in that village. So there was Kodajaneva and Yarshaw. I don't remember which one was which. There was a place with 1,000 families with many devotees in it, because the devotees during the bad times, the black times of the Krishna movement in Russia, they could go there and they were ignored. So it was a safe haven, you know, for illegals, Hare Krishnas. You could be there and they'd not bother you. So but this temple president, he had driven his tractor. He was an educated man. He was, um, a pediatrician. He had some wealth, education, and he driven his tractor into the stream, and then he became humiliated. Nobody laughed at him, but then went against the devotees who were trying to do agriculture and simple living. So they tried to drag me into it. And is what I said. I said, I'm not going to get dragged into it. And then the temple president tried to drag me into it during a class. And he said, look, none of our GBCs, and he listed the different GBCs, are talking about agriculture and the things that you're talking about that Srila Prabhupada said. So what should be our conclusion? I said, I don't know. You can ask them. So what he did, he turned that around, and even though I had witnesses, several witnesses, like the whole room, who told the GBCs later that I didn't say this, he told the GBC that I'm preaching against the GBC for not following Srila Prabhupada, which is not what I said. I said, if they say that, what can I say? Srila Prabhupada says this. I have nothing to say, you ask them. So then when I came the next time, he had informed the KGB, and this was on the north side of the Kafkas, near a town that had been bombed by, rebels from Georgia, I forget which type. So, the whole place was on alert. So he informed the KGB that I was coming for some nefarious activities. So when I got out of the car, one of Prabhu Vishnu Swami's disciples was putting me in his house. And, I'd been there before, and, all the devotees were there to greet me, and so was the KGB. So, this is just a tiny village. And, for me, there was the KGB. And, from what I had already gone through, I have my own adrenaline, but I mean, there's certain things that spook me, but most things like, so the guy came up to me and he said, I want to see your passport. So I said, fine, let me get my passport. Just give me a minute. So there was a regional secretary. You can imagine this tiny village and another little place. So they had created a position, because Russia's really into positions, from the previous regime. Everybody's got to have a position and a title. Makes you feel good, important. So this person came forward. I'm the regional secretary, and now is glasnost and perestroika. So you cannot ask him anything. So you know what the KGB people, the police people said? Yep, we can. We want all of your passports. You're all coming us with the police station. They were all up in nuts, and I wouldn't say the impolite ways, something about some part clothing you wear. I said, no, just be very calm. I'm perfectly happy with it. They said, no. I said, don't worry. I didn't say Krishna will protect us. I just said, don't worry. They have every right to. I'm a visitor here. They have every right. So they not dragged me, they asked me to come into the interrogation room. It was a room, and I had a translator who was a disciple of Naranjan Swami. And so the guy asked me that question, well, why are you here? So I only know one way to answer is truthfully. I said, well, these people invited me, and I used to work with the United Nations teaching agriculture. And, they said, well, are you here to propagate Hare Krishna? I said, well, if people ask me, I'll answer. So they said, well, tell us about Hare Krishna. We're very curious. So they had a book. And so for 45 minutes, they asked me questions about Krishna consciousness. And they said, very good, you can go.